Afternoon to all of you. I'd request everyone to settle down. Those who don't have a chair, just find a chair, and there are enough chairs around. So thank you everybody for coming in for the Cheistha Kochhar Good Samaritan Award. We started this award last year, and the award was for a very specific reason. It was to celebrate one Cheistha Kochhar's memory. I had the privilege of spending many conversations with Cheistha. But looking at General Kochhar, I remember one of the conversations where she was sitting, General Kochhar was sitting, I was sitting, and General Kochhar said, "Isko thoda samjhao, ye she's left McKinsey." And or some such thing, that so she had just left McKinsey, and I said, yeah, she's better than McKinsey. Why should she be there in McKinsey? And her thoughts were so mature. She was hardly, 25, 26 at that time, maybe nearing 30, but everything she said was so mature. And then unfortunately, as all of you know, or most of you know, she passed away in a horrible accident in London, where her bicycle came under a truck. And therefore, the thought was that could we enthuse people to support accident victims on the streets? And this was based on one of the concepts that Cheistha was pushing for, which is nudge theory, nudge economics. Now, nudge economics is a concept that got the Nobel laureate. And she was a big proponent of nudge theory. She bullied Amitabh Kant into setting up a nudge theory cell within Niti Aayog. And as I hear from Niti Aayog, she was pushing the entire Niti Aayog into adopting nudge economics and the theories of nudge. And that's what we thought, why don't we set up an award which will nudge people to help others on the street so that accident victims can get support when they need. My son had decided to set this up last year, and when he heard about this, he said, we should have this award, and why didn't I take the initiative? So he took the initiative, and many people came to support, and that's how the award started. He's not able to join today because he's not well, but we will go ahead with the award itself. I'll read out a bit about Cheistha Kochhar for the record. Now everybody knows about her, but I'll still go and talk about Cheistha Kochhar just for the record. So she is described as a public policy professional, behavior science expert, and social entrepreneur. That statement itself is so multidimensional. A public policy professional, somebody who understands policy very well, a behavioral science expert, which is where the nudge part of it comes in. How do we push a large population towards change? We can't be doing what Singapore did, and before this session started, we were talking about how Singapore cleaned up its city and so on and so forth. You can do that in Singapore, but you can't do that in India because those tools will not work. And so how does behavior science comes in? And a social entrepreneur, where you can have initiatives made which are institutionalized because of the way it's structured. Cheistha was an accomplished public policy professional whose work combined behavioral science, governance, organizational strategy, and social entrepreneurship. She studied economics and mathematics at the University of Delhi, completed the Young India Fellowship at Ashoka University, and earned a Masters of Art in International Development and Policy from the University of Chicago. In fact, there are so many stories of how she helped her fellow classmates in Chicago. Maybe somebody from the family can cover some of those stories. But every time I hear about those stories, it gives me goosebumps. In 2023, she joined the London School of Economics and Political Science as an MRES PhD scholar in organizational behavior. Her research examined collaboration within public institutions, social enterprises, and philanthropic organizations. Cheistha was a member of the founding team of Aadhaar and subsequently worked with McKinsey and Company, the University of Chicago, and different offices of the Government of India. She served as a consultant in the Office of the Prime Minister and the Office of the Education Minister, contributing to the design and implementation of large-scale public programs. This is a 20-something girl that we're talking about. As the founding senior advisor to India's National Behavioral Insights Unit, this was a nudge theory cell that she had created within Niti Aayog. She worked to institutionalize the use of behavioral science in public policy and program delivery. Her social initiatives included Feed India, which made surplus food available at affordable prices, and Aadharit, which sought to organize employment opportunities for domestic and other blue-collar workers. So she would go around, collect the food, and then redistribute. She would go from restaurant to restaurant, take the food, and then go ahead and redistribute it. Such a simple thing, but she thought of it and she got in and did it. Her academic honors included recognition as Young India Fellow, Clinton Global Fellow, Irving B. Harris Scholar, and Tata Scholar. Again, I'll remind you, we're talking about a 20-something lady. Cheistha passed away in a road accident in London on 19th March 2024 while pursuing her doctoral studies at LSE. She is remembered for her intellect, compassion, energy, and commitment to public service. The Cheistha Kochhar Good Samaritan Award was instituted by C-DEP in her memory to recognize and support individuals making exceptional contributions to society through selfless. Just grab a seat. Take this one.
Sure.
So the award was constituted to support individuals making exceptional contributions to society through selfless service. Her legacy is also being carried forward through scholarships, academic awards, memorial lectures, and the Cheistha Kochhar research room at LSE. And I think many of these values are reflected in the people that we had given this award to, or we are going to give this award to. With that, I'll request Anushka, who's managing the program today, to run the video and take us to the next step. Thank you for making it
That we're setting up the Nudge Unit of India, the Behavioral Insights Unit of India. It's the first in India, it's the first in South Asia. It's equally daunting because we're trying to understand human behavior in the world's largest democracy, in a system which is a 200-year-old system, with a science which is 10-year-old. I have experienced it, how much benefit and how much empathy and how much mindfulness this understanding of people around you gives to it, gave to me. And it trims the idea of public policies being that empathetic or being that mindful. Only if they could develop that little sense of human behavior. What we create should last longer than we do.
So that was who Cheistha Kochhar was. And that's why we are proud to take her legacy forward in the form that we have formed, which is the award that we have instituted. I'll now request Lieutenant General Dr. S.P. Kochhar to come and give an address. As we all know, Lieutenant General S.P. Kochhar is Cheistha Kochhar's father. Cheistha Kochhar's mother is also here, and her family and her husband are all here. I'll request General Kochhar to come and share a few words.
Let me start by saying a big thank you, Jajit, to C-DEP and Porter for instituting this award in memory of Cheistha. You've already given an introduction to her life. All I can say is we came to know a lot of things that she was doing after you passed away. Before that, sorry. Before that, she was just a kid to us. She was a very strong girl. She knew what she wanted in life. She knew. She and Prashant had made up a roadmap for the life. You showed all those things, so what we want to do is we want to continue with the legacy. Obviously, we can't achieve her dreams, but we will try to do what we can to keep a legacy alive. Like last year's, you chose a very eminent person as the awardee. And this year too, I was going through the biodata of the current awardee. And let me congratulate you. You couldn't have chosen a better person. And Cheistha, wherever she is, she would be very happy and naughty seeing all this happen. Cheistha was a very kind person. And yes, she has achieved a lot academically. I don't think we find too many people having those type of academic credentials, and you yourself evidence to the type of discussions you could hold with anybody and everybody, right from a toddler to the Prime Minister of India. She could engage at their intellectual level. But those of you who have met her would remember her more for a charismatic laughter, for always being there to help people, and going out of her way to be a good Samaritan. So the name that you have chosen is very apt. She could put herself in trouble, and she could put herself in a lot of anxiety, but she would go out and help anybody and everybody, whether it was a pet, a stray dog, or her own friends, or any stranger on the road. She made everybody happy. Her mother-in-law is sitting here, and she built bridges so fast that we were surprised that how can she do this? But she could get through to anybody whom she met, and people haven't forgotten her. That is the reason why when the accident happened, she got tributes from across the globe, across many continents, and even when you see the type of awards which Ajit showed, the type of scholarships which have been shown, are adequate testimony to the type of person she was. She touched hearts, and she made a statement: "As long as I am alive, my friends will not want for anything." That's a very strong statement, and she lived up to it. She went and helped her friends, her acquaintances, relatives. She was at the bedside of my mother, my father, when they passed away, sacrificing her own career interests. You speak to anybody who has come in touch with her, whether a school teacher or a classmate or even a competitor, they remember her compassion. And maybe that is why she's gone. Because possibly, and this is a consolation to us, she achieved much more than what we could have achieved in 8 years of life. She's achieved huge amount of goodwill, huge amount of tributes, and also gone to the helm of affairs. I said this last year, I'm telling you again, this will show her courage of conviction. She was detailed at Niti Aayog to go and brief the Prime Minister at his residence, in residential office. And she was told that you have to brief him in Hindi. She said, I will, I'm an army kid, so I'm fluent both in Hindi and English. So, and incidentally, she always studied in army schools. So people can't decry her that army schools are not good. Cheistha's testimony. She went to the Prime Minister's office, started a briefing, and the Prime Minister interrupted in between with various questions. 2 or 3 she answered, and then she says, "Sir, please hold on, let me finish my briefing. I will answer all your questions thereafter." And this is guts. And the Prime Minister didn't shoo her away. He went through the briefing, asked whatever questions he had to ask. She came back, and as was her wont, she came and recounted this to us, her parents. And I told her, Cheistha, you made a blunder. You are going to get fired from Niti Aayog now, because nobody talks to the Prime Minister like that. She said, doesn't matter. I thought whatever was right, I did that. And next day she gets a call from Mr. P.K. Mishra, who's still with the Prime Minister, and he tells her, Cheistha, you come and join the PM. So I was surprised that she's getting offered to join the PMO, where people would give the right leg and the right arm to join. She said, sir, will give me 24 hours to think about. And next day morning, she rings him back and says, sorry sir, I will not be able to take up your offer. And I was overhearing what she's saying. And later I asked her, Cheistha, why did you do that? You are being given an invitation to join an office which is the highest in the country. She said, Papa, I would have been a nobody there. I would have to do what they want me to do. Where is my individuality? I would have lost that, and I'm not going to lose that. and they respected her for that. So this was Cheistha. She would sit down with dogs, with school children, and you've seen her sitting under a tree teaching Juggi Jombri children. And when people saw her doing that with dedication, she was offered a teacher's job in an American school because the vice principal saw her day in, day out teaching these children. And when she was offered this job, she laughingly told her, "Ma'am, I already got a job in Niti Aayog. This is my spare time work." So that is Cheistha. We'll miss her, and we will try our utmost best to see that her legacy remains alive. And I was a little hurt yesterday when somebody told me, "You're doing all this fine, but you can't get Cheistha back." That is something which hurt me. But we will continue with friends like Jayajit to propagate her name, to propagate her ideals. On the lines of Anubhav lecture series which she conceived and started, we have now started Nudge lecture series in Christ University, Bangalore. That will commence very soon. And two things which happened after you made the presentation. Annual memorial lecture in Delhi University, Department of Psychology, and another award for the best nudge project in OP Jindal. So that has also happened. There are other plans. We will be going to announce very soon that we will be setting up a platform where the ideals of nudge will be encouraged, and we will form a consortium where people can aggregate and talk about nudge. And anybody among you who is interested, please join that consortium. It will help us keep our memory alive, and that is all that we want now. Thank you so much.
In general, after listening to you, what I can say is that this world is a realm of ideas, and Cheistha had a bunch of ideas. I think Cheistha itself is an idea which will always stay. So there's nothing ephemeral about an idea; it will always stay. I'm also grateful to Porter for supporting us through and through. I believe there is a representative of Porter. Hi, I would request you to say a few words on behalf of Porter.
A very warm afternoon to everybody. It's quite difficult to speak about this after Sir has spoken. But firstly, I want to extend my deepest condolences to Lieutenant General Kochhar and to the entire family. I know that no words can fill in the void. But if I say from here that we are also part and parcel of this grief, maybe if that can take away any bit of the sorrow that you are going through. I would also want to thank C-DEP, an incredible thank you to you, because you have made Porter part of this noble cause. And because we share the same ideal, we have been able to come across and give our best. Thank you again for that. As many of you would already know, Porter is a tech-enabled logistics company. And because the business that we are in, we actually kind of work with more than 6 lakh driver partners on a monthly basis. And because the driver partners are the heart of our business, we and Porter's commitment to road safety and protection is of utmost priority for us. And that is also one of the reasons why the idea of this is very close to us. And we thought nothing better than this, because this is one of the most noblest cause that we could have ever found. For Porter, because the commitment to road safety is prime, We just do not speak about this, we act on that. We do trainings for our driver partners. We do digital interface trainings. We call in them, we train them through experts so that they understand what road safety is, they understand what safe driving practices are, and they practice this on the road itself. However, when we look at such tragic incidences, we understand that road safety or driving safely is just half the battle. The other half of the battle is understanding what needs to be done when such critical situation arises. And hence, we understand the next big part, which we all need to speak more often about, is emergency responses. Anybody and everybody who steps foot on the road needs to understand what emergency response is. Because it is more often that people who do not maybe help a person in need is not person who do not want to do, but they are afraid that they'll be doing something wrong. They are afraid that they do not know what best that needs to be done. They are very uncomfortable doing that. Hence we step aside. But I think it is time that everybody gets trained, everybody is aware of what needs to be done in certain situation, emergency response, so that people go step ahead and save a life, which is the aim. I would also take the moment to thank you and show my deepest respect to the Kochhar family, because turning something which is the most private grief into something which is so inspiring takes a lot of guts. So thank you so much, sir. And I would also take this opportunity to congratulate our awardees, Shri Suraj Prakash and Satyawari, for their incredible work in the field of road safety and emergency responses. I think this is something which we are really proud of. And I would also congratulate Sir and C-DEP for taking such a noble cause, having us on board, and then making sure that this gets the due respect that it demands. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Devayan. That was very beautifully articulated. Thanks for that. Before I go forward, I would just like to thank my colleagues Anushka and Akira, who put in all the sweat to put the videos together and the whole agenda and program today. With that, I'll talk about our last year's awardee, Sri Suraj Prakash Vaid, who has done an incredible job on the road. Sir, I'll call you in a moment. I'll just talk about you. He's sitting at the end of the table. Suraj Prakash Vaid is a former Delhi taxi driver who has spent nearly 4 decades helping road accident victims receive medical care during the critical golden hour. As you know, if we do not give access, provide help in the first hour, it gets difficult for the victim to survive. Born to parents displaced during partition, he left school after class 9 and began working as a taxi driver to support his family. His mission began in 1986 after he witnessed injured accident victims lying unattended on a Delhi road. The incident convinced him that he would never ignore a person in need of emergency assistance. Since then, he has helped rescue at least 92 undocumented road crash victims, with later accounts placing the number to over 200. Equipped with a scooter and first aid kit, he responds to emergency calls, arranges transport to hospitals, and coordinates with the police and medical authorities. His contact details are widely shared among taxi and auto rickshaw associations in Delhi. His contribution often continues after the victim reaches the hospital. He has filed police reports, completed medical legal procedures, appeared in court as a witness, and safeguarded victims' belongings until their family arrived. He also works with transport associations to encourage drivers to assist crash victims and raise awareness regarding the legal safeguards and available to Good Samaritans. His service has been recognized through awards and commendations from the Delhi Police and the government for road safety awareness. In 2024, Suraj Prakash Vaid received the inaugural Cheistha Kochhar Good Samaritan Award for his decades of selfless service to road accident victims. His work demonstrates how individual initiative, compassion, and immediate action can save lives and encourage a stronger culture of citizen-led emergency response. I'll request Anushka if you can play the video. Yeah.
मेरा नाम सूरज प्रकाश वैद है, मेरी एज 70 प्लस है। जो रोड एक्सीडेंट विक्टिम को हॉस्पिटल ले जाने का मैंने काम मोर देन 35 इयर्स से पहले करना शुरू कर दिया था, क्योंकि एक विकास मार्ग के ऊपर एक फैटल एक्सीडेंट हुआ था और 3 लोगों को मैं बस के ऊपर जा रहा था और मैं उतरकर ऑटो रिक्शा में उनको लेकर जेपीएम कैजुअलिटी में पहुंचाया। वो 2 आदमी तो बच गए थे, एक जो है एक्सपायर हो गया था। तो उसके बाद मैंने ये सोच लिया कि मैंने एक ये मिशन बना लिया है कि रोड एक्सीडेंट विक्टिम्स या कोई भी क्राइम विक्टिम्स हो, मैं उसकी भी हेल्प करूंगा। अब्दुल समार्टन बनिए। मेरा जो काम है, मेरे को भगवान ने जो दिया हुआ है, टिल एंड तक करना है, करना है, करना है। आप भी करिए।
I would request Suresh Prakash ji to come here. I would also request General Kochhar to come and felicitate Suraj Prakash ji. Let's get the मैं पकड़ता हूँ। बुला लीजिए ना प्लीज।
आप आ जाइए। युवा डॉक्टर Zula, my missus, grandson, my son is working Ministry Defense, Diyas, my wife. आ जाना, कुछ कहा।
Please come quickly.
जल्दी आ।
तू ही आ रहा सजी। Working Ministry Defense, surgery lab.
This is one. So you can also show it with a picture.
जो हुआ 3 दिन पहले ही।
हाँ 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 हाँ। So sir, I will now request you to share a few words. आप कुछ अगर शब्द कहना चाहते हैं, सूरज प्रकाश जी।
ये फोटोग्राफ है संडे मॉर्निंग 12th 7:30 बजे। ये रेपो पे ये लड़की ट्रैवल करके जा रही थी गांधीनगर टू इग्नू, और ये फ्लाईओवर है शमशान घाट गीता कॉलोनी। और एक बाइक वाले ने हेल्प करने के लिए एक रिक्शा वाले को पैर लगाया, मैं इसके ऊपर लोड है और मैं ज़रा इसकी हेल्प करूं। और पीछे से जो रेपो आ रही थी उसके साथ इसका एक्सीडेंट हो गया, ये गिर गई, अनकॉन्शियस हो गई। मैं वहाँ पे आ रहा था, आई एम जस्ट लाइक इज एंजल, गॉड सेंड टू मी हेल्प फॉर देम। और मैंने इमीडिएटली इसको अपनी स्कूटर पे शोर मचाया, बैठा दो इसको मेरी गाड़ी पे फटाफट। ये पीछे बैठ गई और मैं इरवन हॉस्पिटल इसको 8 किलोमीटर ड्राइव करके लेकर गया। और रास्ते में इसने मेरे को बोला, अंकल जी मेरा मोबाइल और मेरे पैसे और बैग कहाँ हैं? मैं कहा बेटा मेरे को पहले हॉस्पिटल जाने दो, सब कुछ मिल जाएगा। दूसरी टेंशन शुरू होगी मोबाइल की। हॉस्पिटल फटाफट कैजुअलिटी में ले जाके डॉक्टर को, पुलिस को बुलाया, क्योंकि आई नो वेरी वेल पुलिस वाले से मैं डरता नहीं हूँ, ना मैं डॉक्टरों से डरता हूँ, क्योंकि मेरे को एक आदत पड़ गई है। MC मिश्रा जी थे जो ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट मेडिकल साइंस के, जब मैं टीवी पे बैठा था तो वो कहते सूर्य प्रकाश डरता नहीं है, क्योंकि इसको पता है पीयूष जी ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट में केस लगाया, अभी तक भी लोग डरते हैं, उनके रिश्तेदार डरते हैं, वो कहते हैं क्या करना है इसको, हॉस्पिटल लेके जाना, डरते हैं अभी भी। और ये बैग के अंदर पुलिस को वाले को बुला के बैग के अंदर मोबाइल, पैसा, क्रेडिट कार्ड थे, वो सब मिल गए। रात तक वो वहीं रही। अब उसको शिफ्ट करके कौशाम्बी में भेजा गया है, मैक्स हॉस्पिटल में। उसके क्लाउड हो गए हैं और वो बच जाएगी। डॉक्टर ने बोला कि आपने जो 12 मिनट के अंदर इसको हॉस्पिटल पहुँचाया है, ये बच जाएगी। ये आप देखिए। पीयूष जी हमारे साथ बैठे थे, ये मैं फोटोग्राफ लाया हूँ। ये कानपुर से बिलोंग करते हैं, माई लाज इन कानपुर, तो मैं इनको फोटोग्राफ ही देना चाहता हूँ। आप ही दे। नितिन गडकरी साहब आए हैं, आपके सामने बोल रहे हैं, ये काम करते रहिए आप, प्लीज फोटो लीजिए। मुझे चेष्टा कोचर जी के बारे में 2 वर्ड बोलने हैं। मुझे बहुत दुख लगता है, ऐसा अवार्ड पाने के लिए मैं पिछली दफा भी रो पड़ा था और मेरा दिल रो रहा है। मुझे जो पैसे से मोहब्बत नहीं है, मुझे पूरे देश में सभी लोगों से मोहब्बत है। मैंने BSF, आर्मी और डॉक्टर्स, कई लोगों को मैंने हॉस्पिटल पहुँचाया, लेडीज़ को, क्योंकि मुझे कुछ याद नहीं है, कम से कम 200 से ज़्यादा लोगों को मैं हॉस्पिटल पहुँचा चुका हूँ। मेरे घर के अंदर बस सिर्फ यही है, ये चीज़ें मिलेंगी आपको। लोग कहते हैं तू पागल है यार, क्यों लगा हुआ है, छोड़ इस दुनिया में, पैसा है तो सब कुछ है, तू पता नहीं क्या चक्कर में लगा हुआ है, स्कूटर लेके घूमता रहता है, हॉस्पिटल ले जाता है, कोर्ट में जाता है। अभी इसी लड़की के लिए मेरे को आयु ने बोला कि वो तो अभी ठीक नहीं है, तो आप तो FIR लॉन्च करा दो। मैं कहा यस, मैं थाने में गया, FIR लॉन्च कराइए इसकी। मुझे कई काम करने पड़ते हैं एक काम के पीछे, ऐसा नहीं है कि वहाँ छोड़ के चले जाएंगे हॉस्पिटल, देयर इज नो वे। मुझे बहुत कुछ करना पड़ता है, आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ। एक बच्ची का एक्सीडेंट हुआ और पिक पॉकेटर मेरे पास आ गया, वो ऐसे ऐसे कर रहा है, वो कह रहा है अंकल जी आपके ये पैसे ले जा रहे हैं 10:30 बजे रात को। किस तरह से काम करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि मेरे पास मोबाइल भी ये छोटा है, क्योंकि मैं मोबाइल 2-3 दफ़ा लेके गया हूँ तो वो चोरी हो जाता है। ये मोबाइल मेरे को रखा हुआ है। ये इस लड़की की इस तरह से मुझे हिस्ट्री बनानी पड़ी है, शुरू से लेके एंड तक। ये है, पुलिस कहती है यार क्या है, आप फोर्स में थे, आप फौज में थे, आप इतने स्ट्रोंग, आप आयरन मैन हो। इतनी चीजें नोट करने के बाद जज को भी दिखाता हूँ तो जज कहता है क्लैपिंग करो यार, ये तो मेरा गोल्डन विटनेस आया कोर्ट के अंदर, इसके साथ कोई आर्गूमेंट नहीं होगा, कोई क्रॉस नहीं होगा, इज ए ट्रुथ। ये इसको मैंने सिर्फ 300 रुपया देना है डाइट का आज, और तेरी तो तनख्वाह आयु को बोलता है तेरी तनख्वाह 3000 रुपये है, तू बार बार आता है 3000 रुपये तेरे को मिलता है पर डे, मगर इसको मैंने आज 300 रुपया देना है। ऐसे दुनिया में शख्स बहुत कम है ये काम करते हैं। मुझे बहुत दुख लगा क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम इन्होंने बोला था कि आप भी अगर इंग्लैंड में होते तो हमारी बच्ची के साथ ऐसा ना होता। ये सही बात है, भगवान ऐसा किसी के साथ ना करे। ये बहुत दुख की बात है, बहुत दुख की बात है। हमें सबको ये काम करना चाहिए। कहीं भी कोई रोड एक्सीडेंट विक्टिम मिलता है हमें ले जाना चाहिए। ये भट्टाचार्य जी ने मेरी ताकत और ज़्यादा बढ़ाई है, पीयूष जी त्रिपाठी जी ने मेरी और ताकत ज़्यादा बढ़ाई है। मेरी ताकत बनती जा रही है, बनती जा रही है, बनती जा रही है। मेरे अंदर जैसे ग्लूकोज होता है, ब्लड वो चढ़ रहा है। आप लोगों की ताकत से एक आदमी दुखी होता है सड़क के ऊपर, उसको देखा नहीं जाता। मैं कई काम करता रहता हूँ, कहीं मुझे लेडीज़ पुलिस मिलती है, कोई पुलिस वाले मिलते हैं, उनके साथ पेट्रोलिंग करना, स्नैचिंग होती है बहुत ज़्यादा। ये लेडीज़ पुलिस है सेंट्रल डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, उनके साथ ये देखिए, ये जज हैं ML मोहनलाल मेहता, रिटायर्ड हैं, और इनकी मिसिज है। इनके मैंने सीनियर सिटीजन के कार्ड बनवाए हैं। मेरी फैमिली जो है इसी काम में लगी रहती है, हम सारा परिवार इसी काम में लगे रहते हैं। इस तरह का जो 60 साल का सीनियर सिटीजन हो जाता है, हम इस तरह से दिल्ली पुलिस का कार्ड बनवाते हैं, पुलिस हेडक्वार्टर से जाके कार्ड घर में जाके देना, उसका एनरोलमेंट कराना, कई तरह के काम हम करते रहते हैं। क्योंकि मैं अपनी लाइफ को ऐसे ही चला रहा हूँ और ऐसे ही मैंने चलाना है। क्योंकि ये कई रजिस्टर्ड है, जो लोगों ने कमेंट्स लिखे हुए हैं, बड़े बड़े लोगों ने, जज ने भी लिखा है। जस्टिस रिटायर ये निज़ामुद्दीन एरिया में रहते हैं, रिटायर्ड हैं, इनके कार्ड बनाए, कार्ड बनवाता हूँ। मेरी मिसिस, मेरी डॉटर इन लॉ इसी काम में लगे हुए हैं। लोगों के कार्ड बनवाने दिल्ली पुलिस से, जो 60 साल के हो जाते हैं, और जाकर उनके घर डिलीवर करना। मेरी फैमिली, मेरी बहू, ये 80 साल के ये वकील है, आंध्र प्रदेश से बिलोंग करते हैं, ये बैचलर हैं। इन्होंने मेरे बारे में लिख के दिया हुआ है पुलिस कमिश्नर को कि यही मेरी देखभाल करता है। इस तरह से लोगों के कार्ड बनवाने, सीनियर सिटीजन के जो 60 साल से ऊपर हो जाता है उसका कार्ड बनवाते हैं हम। मतलब कुछ ना कुछ मैंने करना है अपनी लाइफ में, बड़ा जा रहा है जी, और करना भी चाहिए, सबको करना चाहिए। बाकी जो भगवान को मंजूर है, मुझे बहुत फील हुआ है कि ऐसा जो हुआ है, ये देखिए ये लड़की का क्या हाल हुआ पड़ा है। रेपो के ऊपर ट्रैवल नहीं करना चाहिए, बस मेरी यही एडवाइस है। क्योंकि ये ही इज़ नॉट ए प्रोफेशनल ड्राइवर, वो ड्राइवर नहीं है, वो खतरनाक इंसान है। तुम्हारी फोटोग्राफ दे दिया आपको जी। माई सन इन बोर्न इन कानपुर, गोविंद नगर। आई टोल्ड यू बिफोर, किदवाई नगर में ना आपका घर। अभी रिसेंटली भी आपने एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट में केस लगाया था, वही मैंने पढ़ा है।
सूरज प्रकाश जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सो मच।
आपका काम बहुत ही सराहनीय है।
ओके सर, नमस्कार सबको, थैंक यू सो मच।
So, I think you have all heard of all the wonderful work that Suraj Prakash Vaidji has done. The idea was, how do we amplify that? How can we create thousands of more Suraj Prakash Vaids who can be on the street and help and carry forward what Cheistha Kochhar had said, which is to create something that lasts longer than you do. And that's where what Piyush Tiwari has done fits the bill so much, because he has made fundamental institutional change. Many of you remember the skepticism that we have when we see somebody on the road. Not because we are afraid to help, not because we got something more important to do, but because we know if we get intervened, we'll get entwined. The police will hold us. We'll have to go and report in multiple times and so on and so forth. And that's the change that Piyush Tiwari and his foundation, Save Life Foundation, did. I'll give a quick background. Piyush Tiwari is a social entrepreneur, and founder and CEO of Save Life Foundation, a non-profit organization working to reduce road crash fatalities and improve emergency medical care in India. He holds a bachelor degree in information technology from the University of Delhi and a mid-career master in public administration from Harvard Kennedy School, completed in 2017. He founded the Safe Life Foundation in 2008 after losing a young cousin in a road accident. The hesitation of bystanders to assist the victim due to fear of police and legal procedures shaped his mission. Under his leadership, the foundation played an important role in advancing India's Good Samaritan legal framework, which safeguards citizens who voluntarily assist road accident victims from legal and procedural harassment. The foundation pioneered the zero fatality corridor model, combining road engineering, enforcement, data analysis, and emergency response to reduce fatalities on high-risk highways. Its intervention has achieved reduction of over 50% in road crash deaths on selected corridors. And these are numbers you will never see. You will see numbers of how many people died. You'll never see numbers of how many people got saved. Save Life Foundation has trained thousands of police personnel and citizens in trauma response, first aid, and CPR. Piyush Tiwari has worked with the Government of India, the Supreme Court, the World Bank, and the World Health Organization on road safety policy and reforms. He has received several honors, including the Rolex Award for Enterprise, the Skoll Award for Social Innovation, and recognition from the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship. His work has transformed personal loss into institutional reform, stronger citizen protection, and measurable improvements in road safety. Thank you for all of that, Piyush. We really and deeply appreciate your contributions. I would now request Akira to play a video on contributions of Piyush.
5th April 2007, my cousin Shivam had a serious crash. He asked passers-by for help, but nobody did anything that would save his life. Nobody called the ambulance and nobody rushed him to the hospital in time. After waiting for help, he passed away on the scene. The trauma that I experienced following the incident got me to start looking at the issue very closely. Something had to change. I took time, the next several months, to travel across the country. I met with lawyers, police officers, doctors, other victims' families to understand what really was happening in the country. And I fundamentally learned three things. I learned that road crashes are a public health issue that kill 1.35 million people globally each year. In 2007, India had surpassed China to become world number one in road crash fatalities. Each year, about 150,000 people are killed. The second thing I discovered was that nearly 50% of those killed in road crashes in India died despite having treatable injuries. And the third thing I discovered was that the public inaction that we saw was not apathy. It was a very profound fear of being blamed for the incident itself. This issue has not been looked at from the lens of public health. And fundamentally, the resources that must go into dealing with such an issue are not allocated appropriately, even though they exist in majority of countries. And with that in mind, I founded the Save Life Foundation to take on this issue.
This is Nagpur intersection, Kalpana Talkies. This is the buffer, and we have to extend the median as well.
Our hope at Save Life Foundation is to build a model coming from the developing world that can fundamentally solve this problem in not just India, but also other low and middle income countries around the world. They made this new ramp. They made this new ramp to connect to an industrial area, which is where all the trucks are going.
In 2013, we did our research on why bystanders are not really helping road crash victims. And what we found was that there was a tremendous fear of legal and procedural hassles. And while we studied that, we realized something needs to change. And we worked with the government, we filed a public interest litigation in the Supreme Court. We were able to institutionalize the Good Samaritan law in India to ensure that Good Samaritans, bystanders are protected.
During this process of getting the country its first Good Samaritan law, I also gained a very deep insight into what was causing crashes in the first place, what were the systemic issues that were leading to these incidents. I also learned greatly about trauma care and what was required to create a chain of survival. Because if you want to prevent this epidemic from taking place, we have to address road infrastructure issues, vehicular safety issues, driver behavior issues, and then fundamentally trauma care issues, which can then ensure that in the event an injury has been suffered, life can still be saved.
ऐसे बेहोश है कि पल्स आती है, तब आप ठीक नहीं होंगे। वैसे बेहोश है, पल्स भी नहीं है, तभी आप ठीक हैं।
Now what was the victim?
For the last many years, Save Life Foundation has been training both police personnel who serve as first responders to many of these incidents, as well as citizens in basic trauma life support skills. We also started advocating for a comprehensive road safety law for India, which would address the gaps in the legal framework to prevent road crashes. Save Life then decided to establish a program that would implement all of these best practices that we have been talking about and we have been reading about in an India context. And that program I called the Zero Fatality Corridor.
यहाँ से हम शुरू करेंगे 56 किलोमीटर के आसपास नेपाल में पुणे में एक बार हम लोनावला एग्जिट लेके हम वापस मुंबई तरफ आएंगे।
The Zero Fatality Corridor is a replicable, scalable model of road safety. The way we look at road safety is we focus on one large corridor by about 100 kilometers and reducing the fatalities in that corridor to near zero levels. The way we identify crash-prone location is simply through data. Data speaks volumes. It helps us find out what are the most critical locations for us to focus on. It tells us what the issues are, and we are able to recommend a holistic solution.
So for instance, if there is an intersection that is known to have a large number of crashes, it is possible to redesign to prevent these road crashes and fatalities from happening.
It includes stakeholders from the health department. The health department can optimize the placement of the ambulance. Once we show that this model is effective, then we replicate and we scale it. So for example, we started on one highway on the Bombay-Pune Expressway. Right now, we are present in more than 20 highways across 15 states.
What Save Life does is create a platform where we can bring all of the stakeholders together, whether it's the bureaucracy, whether it's political leadership, media, the community members, eminent citizens, sometimes judiciary, and try and build consensus around not just what the nature of the problem is, but also what the potential solutions could be.
Save Life Foundation is able to assist the government and work alongside the government's executive machinery to be able to analyze the problem, give its recommendations, and also observe the effects of the recommendations and the actions on a real-time basis, and partner with the government in terms of reducing the number of crashes and fatalities.
It's a very unique moment to elevate the status of this issue as a public health issue. We have a solution that works, political will to actually implement and scale that solution, and a set of resources to make all of that happen. And if we don't grab this opportunity right now, given the fact that all of these things are aligned for the first time, we might not get this opportunity again.
Now request General Kochhar and General Kochhar to come to the podium here to felicitate Piyush Tiwari. Piyush. So the award carries a small, very small honorarium, and I called up Piyush to say, "What do you want to do with an honorarium? Because it's neither here nor there. It's nothing. And who do you want to give it to?" And he said, "There are more people who need help out there, and so through the Save Life Foundation, he'll be channeling it to people who can provide support on the ground." So that's very, very nice of you, Piyush. With that, I'll request you to share your views over here.
Thank you so much to C-DEP and to Porter for organizing this gathering today. I want to begin by sharing my tributes to Cheistha and the entire Kochhar family. I have, when Cheistha's demise happened, the news spread like wildfire across the country, across the city. And I had many intersection points with her. I teach a small course at Ashoka, but before I started teaching at Ashoka, I taught at the Young India Fellowship. And so I was getting messages from the Young India Fellowship community about this entire piece happening. Then we worked very closely with the Niti Aayog, and friends from there were speaking about this. I've had the opportunity to work with Colonel Tewatia in CII, and we had the community, and he made so many posts on LinkedIn with regard to the incident. So it just kept coming to me over a period of time, and on one day I realized that I was having I just couldn't sleep. I was thinking about the incident. Then I read up about it, about how it happened, where it happened in the UK. And the only thing that I could do sitting from India was to make a call to TfL, which is Transport for London, and Shashi Verma, who's the Chief Technology Officer of TfL, to at least get the incident investigated properly. Let's understand what happened, and let's see if things can change as a result of that. And we pursued it over a period of time. But it was something that struck me, and seeing you on the podium, General Kochhar, I could relate to you, because I started the organization after losing someone who I considered to be a son. And to imagine them lost, when Shivam died on 5th April 2007, it was his 16th birthday that day. So we had spoken in the morning, and by 3:30 in the afternoon, this incident had happened. 8:30 we were on the train to Kanpur, and next morning we saw the cremation and all of that. But when I went to the site of the incident, because I wanted to see where this had happened, and I went to the site of the incident, and there was just a blood trail there, nothing else left. But I started to ask about what really had gone wrong. And what the people told me really shook me, because this is a 16-year-old boy in a school uniform, white shirt, blue trousers, black shoes, school bag. He was returning from his NDA coaching at 3:30. And a vehicle struck him. He fell to the ground. And unfortunately for him, the driver of the vehicle panicked and tried to flee the scene. And in that process ran over him again, which basically turned out to be what grievously injured him. He was a very brave boy. He had a lot of life in him. He dragged himself to the side of the road. There was a tree there. And next to the tree, with his head, he just resting against the tree, he asked passers-by for help. Can you help me? And I'm told that maybe 120, 150 people stopped to see what was going on. Some people threw water at him to keep him awake. Some people offered water to him. But because of fear, nobody actually did anything the next step. I wish Surajji was there. Maybe his life may have been saved. But he was not that lucky. And he bled to the death on the side of the road, waiting for help, just lying there. That circumstance fundamentally changed the course of my life. I was in the US, I was working in private equity, and I was doing fairly well. But at that point of time, I realized that the problem has already come home. If we don't deal with the problem that's already come home, then what good are we? And that's how the process of setting up Save Life came into being. The video already talks about, we petitioned the Supreme Court of India saying that it was not apathy that was preventing people from coming forward and helping. It was fear. And when it's fear, it is a job of the institutions to ensure that that fear is removed. And so that's how we moved the Good Samaritan law petition in the court in 2012. 2016, the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court came in our favor, instituting a nationwide Good Samaritan law. 2019, the Parliament of India passed it, giving it statutory backing. And 26th of May, 2026, the Supreme Court of India has now ordered the creation of district-wise grievance redressal cells to ensure that Good Samaritans have a place to go to in case they are still troubled. As Mr. Vaid was talking about, people are still afraid. It's a fact. He's not incorrect. But the system to address that has to be created. And we've been working towards that and a few other things. But that's been the journey that we took. The rest has been covered in the video. My goal is to not make Save Life into the largest non-profit or to keep doing this for the rest of our lives. Our goal is, if we can put a lock outside Save Life someday, saying that the mission has been accomplished, that we are not required to exist forever. Because if we are required to exist forever, then either we are not doing something right, or the issue remains the way it has remained in the past. So with that goal we are working, and that's why you see a lot of the work with the government, because we feel that the system has to be institutionalized. Whatever is working should become part of the system, so that people don't. Why should people have to rely on Good Samaritans? People should rely on professional services who can actually come and save their lives. Good Samaritan's job should just be to make that phone call, to connect to help. Their job should not be to provide care. So the vision that we have for India is that the systems that should exist, if we are aiming to be a developed nation by 2047, we can't be a developed nation unless we don't care about public safety, and people keep dying the way we read every day about them losing their lives. So with the goal of hopefully taking the organization towards redundancy is where we are working. And I'm deeply honored, General Kochhar and family, for this honor, and to C-DEP, especially because of how I remember feeling when Cheistha passed away. And with regard to the proceeds of the award, we have a small victim relief fund. And the victim relief fund is focused towards children who get injured in road crashes and whose families cannot afford long-term treatment for them. And this year we have released about 50 lakhs as part of that. Last FY we released 50 lakhs as part of that for treatment of children. And we will take this contribution and we will ensure that the Cheistha Kochhar Good Samaritan Award goes towards saving the lives of children whose families cannot afford life-saving treatment for them at this point of time. That's how we intend to use it. Thank you once again for this honor, for being here, and my sincere tributes to Cheistha and the life that she led and the inspiration that she's left with all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Piyush. And the more we hear from you, the more convinced we are that we couldn't have found a better awardee. And more power to you. Thank you. And I look forward to actually working with you, with C-DEP and you working together, because there's a lot more to be done in the same realm of how do we reduce fatalities and make it easier to live in the cities. It's a dangerous act to just live in a city. So great power to you. Thank you. And I'll request General Katoch to deliver the closing note. But before that, a little token of appreciation. Thank you so much.
General Kochhar sir, Mrs. Kochhar, the Kochhar family, Suraj ji, Piyush ji, Jaideep, ladies and gentlemen, I never knew that this would be that emotional. I saw Cheistha's life, it came out alive. Then I heard Suraj ji speak. What courage it has taken to do what he has done for decades. And then we heard Piyush. I think this is what motivation is all about. And I got personally involved because about 30 years ago, on a winding road in Shimla, my younger brother was traveling. He was actually walking on the side of the road when somebody hit him from behind and continued to drive off, and he fell into the khud. It wasn't very deep, about 2 feet or 3 feet. He was unconscious. And there was somebody walking by, coming behind him. He went inside, he pulled him out, stopped the car, and took him to the hospital, and stayed there with him till he regained consciousness, and then he left. 30 years have elapsed, of 35 years, we don't know who he was. But he was that Good Samaritan. Cheistha was a Good Samaritan. When Cheistha says, if I am there, nobody needs help because I am there. What a strong statement to come from a young girl. How many people can say that? I thought it was truly admirable, the way she lived her life. And I think that's more important than anything else. It's not the length we live. We can spend an eternity in a second. She lived that life. And to the Kochhar family, I will say, don't mourn her. Don't mourn her anymore. Celebrate her life. That is the life we need to live if we are fortunate enough to be there. You were fortunate to have a daughter like that. What more can anyone ask for? And sir, to the person who told you, "Kyun kar rahe ho, kya farak hai, you won't get her back," that person is hopelessly off track. Hopelessly off track. They don't know what they're talking about. People don't live with us physically, they live here. And so long as they live here, they're always with you for hundreds of years, thousands of years. Memories don't go away. We pass away. It is truly motivational. She has been a great motivator to many. But a small thing which I'll just tell you, because today morning I sent a message to my office where I work. I said, I won't be coming there, I'm here and I'm doing this. I sent a small message there. I think within 3 minutes there was one chap in my office, Shashwat. He's working in environment, and he sends back a message. He said, sir, Cheistha is a very good friend. We worked together and she was deeply respected. 3 minutes or 2 minutes, immediately it came back. Now that is the impact you get. So sir, she'll always be with you. She'll be with everybody who knows her. She'll be in our hearts. And I think all of you must be very, very proud. Very, very proud. I certainly am. Surajji, to you and to you, sir, that's courage. What else can we say? And to Jaideep, to you, to have continued with this initiative. I think we can all salute you. You're all warriors. Some of us say we are in the army, we fight. Each one of you is a warrior in your own right. And I think you're doing it outstandingly well. The only thing I can say standing here is, I salute you. I salute your courage. And I'm certain that you will continue in this manner. Carry on with the good work, sir. Don't listen to any negative voice. You're doing outstandingly well. That's all I have to say. Jai Hind, Dhanyavad.
Thank you, General. With that, we come to the closing of this afternoon. But there's high tea, and we can catch up with each other. We can speak to the Kochhar family, get to hear about the stories, and catch up with Piyush ji and Suraj ji and get to hear about their stories. So you're all welcome to please have tea and have our own private conversations. Thank you.